Before I went on the shred, I did a strength base. What do you want to call it? A strength base strategy. And I didn't know at the time I did the strength base strategy that would be beneficial to my shredding. So I'm 57 years old and I've been shredding or cutting since January 1. Overall, I've lost 21 kg, which is 45 pounds. So if I think about 3 months before I started shredding, I got back into the gym seriously. And I don't know if you're like me, but I like to have a challenge. So my challenge at that time was to build up a strength base. So I thought, okay, well, what does that strength look like? What do I have to do? How am I comparing? What am I comparing with? So one of the things I looked at was my age, which was 57, my height, which is short, 5'7" on a good day, and at the time I was about 85 kg. So I actually ended up doing some research and I put together a spreadsheet which I used to give me a guide on what I needed to lift at the gym across about 25 exercises, the weight and reps to be in the top 5% for my body weight and my age. So that's where it started. So I mean 23, it started off with the bench press and the squat and the deadlift and the pull-ups and you know, just the standard things that you find it and you do at a gym. But I included a couple of other ones that I was doing specifically to get myself stronger, and that was the backward sled and also the farmer's walk. And that's where it really started. So most days I was doing sled backward walking, which was a challenge, but it was a really good challenge. It was a safe challenge. Not many people did it at the gym, and so obviously that machine was always available, so it was easy to do. And the farmers were the same. Farmers were, you just grab a couple of dumbbells and away you go, you carry those. And luckily the gym that we've got to use is about 20-25 meters, so it's a good range to work with in terms of testing your stamina with things like sled, forward sled or backward sled, but in my case it was backward sled, and also with farmers carries. So, and the third exercise I'll add to that one was the goblets. So those are the foundation for building strength that I used for me during that comeback and 3-month period prior to getting into shredding. So at the time I had a training partner as well, Brendan, and he was awesome. He helped me actually establish a lot of strength and a lot of exercises. He gave me the courage and the discipline and the belief that I could lift what I used to lift. And what he was saying, and what I mean about that is, back in the day, my early 20s, I used to live in America. I live in New Zealand now, but I used to live in America, and I used to build retaining walls. So when we built these walls, we had to pick big heavy concrete blocks up all day, and that heat in Georgia, fairly warm if you know that area. So that gave me a really good basic strength level. And I was telling Brendan about this, and I said, oh, man, Brendan, when I was back in my 20s, I was strong. He goes, what does that feel like? So he walked me through the exercise of being that person again. and very grateful, because without Brendan being there, I don't think I would have achieved the strength levels I did, and and even the discipline and the courage. And we used to meet in the morning, and that made me make sure I got up, right? And he'd get me there, and we would work out. And he was a hell of a lot stronger than me. He had a great base to work from. He's been working out for years, but he was strong, and so he taught me through a lot of those heavy exercises, and brought me back to life, brought me back to my 20s. And all of a sudden I had that belief that, yeah, actually I am strong and I can do this again. Because for a while, up until then, I bought into that notion that, hey, 50 can't work out anymore. That you're old. You have to be careful. You do other things like challenges or high reps or lightweight. You don't want to be lifting that heavy thing. That's only for young people. So I really bought into that. And Brendan was saying, what are you buying into that nonsense for? You're so strong, you got it there. So I started buying into that. And that helped me get through a lot of those exercises. And to be fair, I did get about 65 or 70% through most of those exercises, reaching in the top 5%. I didn't complete them all, and actually probably got a bit bored with it at the end, but that tied in nicely because it was almost the end of December, and that's when we sort of break away down here in New Zealand, and it was time for me to actually find another challenge, and the shredding was that next challenge. Because while I had that strength and I've been training heavy and hard for 3 months, I didn't have much to show for it. My body really hadn't changed much, I didn't think. I still felt overweight, and I still had man boobs, and I struggled with that. So yeah, it actually worked out really well. So I guess the point of this video was to tell you, if you're not sure where to start, maybe just start going to the gym, building up a nice strength base. And that's what I did. And then once you've got a strength base, in order to get the shape that I was looking for, and you might be looking for this as well, so you look like an athlete, is to start shredding. And taking that strength into a shredding routine, I think, is key. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it worked for me. I was able to take that strength and lean up, and for the most part keep the strength. I'd say I'm probably as strong as I was now. During the shred I lost a lot of strength, and I think that's pretty common because I was depleted in calories and carbohydrates were low. So I found that really, really hard. So naturally that sort of affects how much you can lift on any day. So yeah, alright, well, I'm going to end the video now, but if you're not sure where to start, maybe you just go to the gym, and build up your strength. And in 3 months after that, once you've got a good base of strength, you can then start a shred, and then you can sort of lean up, and then you start looking like an athlete. And if you want, just give me a message, write a comment, and I'll send you that spreadsheet that I made. I had a 5% one, so to be in the top 5%, but I also had a 1% test as well, and I don't think I made many in the 1%. There's some pretty elite sort of weights to be 1%, even at 57 years old. But yeah, give me a comment. And before I go, if you want to hear more of my journey, how it started with a family event, how how that stopped me from drinking ever again, how that got me back into the gym, and how that made me who I am today after my shred, well, subscribe, tag along. I'm just hoping that, you know, I could help someone out who's actually struggling with overweight or not believing they can actually be strong again when you're over 50, or someone who's just drinking and wants something else to do other than just go home after work and drink, because that's not good. All right, well listen, it's a beautiful day here. I'm going to get out of here. We'll talk to you next time.